Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's an all-you-can-geek Moviecast. I'm one of host Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy.
What's up?
Corey Feinsod.
Ahoy.
And Tony Korkanakis.
Bob.
Bob. Welcome, listeners. Welcome, viewers. We are live right now on Twitch, Tuesday night, starting at 8 o'clock. Please join us for these broadcasts. If you can't make it, we have everything over on YouTube, so you can rest assured you can see it all there. Subscribe. That way you know when we post. We post a couple days of the week now, so stay tuned for stuff like that. Bonus rounds coming up. This is the Moviecast, folks. I've been away all week, so my contributions tonight are going to be limited, but I can contribute to, I guess, the number one movie in, is it the world still, I guess we could say?
I guess the world.
Yeah. I know that domestically, the number one movie, I did see Thunderbolts, Thunderbolts asterisk. So I did see that. Who saw that here?
I did.
You didn't see it, Tony?
He said he did.
Oh, you did. I thought you said you just didn't. I thought you did. Okay, good. All right. So three of us have seen it. Mike, I'm guessing you didn't get to go see it.
I'm not going to see it.
Okay.
No.
Watchability wise, you don't care, but we're not going to spoil
don't
anything here. But actually, we should probably throw a bonus round tonight. Let's see what we can put together here. So yeah, guys, we've got. I don't know. I saw it. I went to the movies with Corey. It was an experience. Unfortunately, our movie theater's lights overhead would not shut down, like they were on over our heads. Yeah, it was
In the specific spot we sat in, it was just straight down. So if you had a hat, it was okay.
I brought my hat, so I just put my hat on.
I think it was just like the angle. It wasn't necessarily the lights of like the normal lights. It's one of the just to keep people safe if they have to get up and things like one of those. But I think it like tilted maybe, so it was just like pointing in a bad angle.
If you looked, all the other blue lights dimmed. That one didn't. I think it was just it was broken.
If you had like a hat, it would block.
You guys should have complained.
I thought about it for a bit because like I didn't want to wear my hat while I watch a movie. I don't like to do that, but in those circumstances, I had to. I felt bad for Corey. Who chose to finally... we were arguing about where we were sitting last week, remember? And Corey did choose to sit next to me at the end because we couldn't...
It was Jim. You fucked him.
And I was like, I felt bad.
Right.
But
it's all right. It didn't distract me from the film, so...
No. It was in the beginning for me. I was like, that's... it was a little distracting in the beginning, but by the time we got, through the credits, essentially, I was ready to go. But yeah, so Thunderbolts, guys. What do we think? I thoroughly enjoyed this movie quite a bit. It's a fun film. I haven't actually, I don't think I've enjoyed a Marvel movie this much. I'm trying to remember since, I don't even know. Like, when was the last time I actually watched an event, like maybe the original Avengers? Like, fun.
Deadpool,
you know what I'm talking about? I'm not saying, Deadpool Wolverine. I'm talking about like a Marvel MCU movie. I don't know if I count that yet.
The Marvel
yeah, you're right. That's probably the last one. You're right. But
maybe like connected or central MCU. I could see that.
It's got TVA in it.
Yeah, probably the first Spider-Man movie, I guess. Like, I'm trying to think of like what was the last fun movie that like, not saying good Marvel movie. That's not what I'm saying here. I'm just talking about enjoyable, like just light fun movie. And that's what this is for me. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. Corey's going to probably discuss something that he couldn't get out of his mind, and I agree. But go on, Corey. What'd you think?
I thought it was good.
Guardians. I'm sorry, Guardians. Yeah, Churro. Guardians. You're right. Churro. You're right. Sorry.
I'm surprised. I don't know. It was good. The movie. Fun isn't the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah,
when I watch this movie.
I wouldn't say fun. I mean, there are fun elements to it, but I'm like, these titles are pretty heavy, actually.
Yeah,
they were, but it was fun.
I think there are good character moments that have comedic appeal to them and things like that because of the interactions. But this movie is dealing with some heavy stuff, heavy material here that like was pretty, I thought handled. Like it did a good job of bringing to attention certain like mental, I want to say issues, but like, mental things that people have to deal with in day-to-day life, and just as and how you can overcome certain feelings that you have. And that's what the whole thing to me was about. But like Jim alluded to, every time I saw Bob or I saw Sentry or I saw the Void, I'm just thinking, because we knew a certain actor got casted as this character beforehand. We were like, this is amazing. Love Steven Yeun and would love to see him in this film. And all I could think about was like how I wish he was playing this character instead of Lewis Pullman. And no offense to Lewis Pullman, he was fine.
Yeah,
but like
he's great.
I just think Steven Yeun would have been so much more. I think
It
I would have
seems like the
enjoyed
role
it
was
more with
made.
him.
It was made for him. Like every time you see the character, like I completely envision Steven Yeun here. Like it just looks like they're trying to even model that with Lewis Pullman.
Did you guys see the concept art of him, like in the suit and stuff?
Yeah.
Like, somebody drew. I was like, damn, like what could have been, right? Like,
yeah. Where's that we need that alternate universe entry.
Well, that's the thing is like Marvel does like to, eventually get people. So like if they wanted to work with him, I'm sure it's just a matter of time before they find a role and a timing for him to be part of it. And I mean, his popularity's only gone up after Walking Dead. Obviously, Invincible, he's nailing it there, and he even has that Netflix series, right?
Beef or something.
Beef, yeah, he's part of that, which my brother even loves. So I was like, oh.
No, I've heard really good things about that show. But as far as the Thunderbolts go, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I liked the characters a lot, and I think Florence Pugh as Yelena is just it's a chef's kiss, right? It's just like so good, so well.
It's frustrating and great because I would love to see her on screen with Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Like it would be really awesome, but obviously we can't see that, and that's the drive. But it's just like, we did. You're right. We did for a little bit. I want more. more. And like as I'm getting to know this character more, the more I'm like, man, like there's like her with her sister would just be awesome, like badass,
Well, the family in general, and David Harbour was great.
I love them. Dude.
I just want to shout out Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Louise
so
Dreyfus,
good in this film. Like she was my star of this movie for me. She stood out. Like I just thought she was.
Corey said that we left the theater, and Corey's like, she stole this movie for me, and I was like, wow, that's impressive. Tony, what'd you think?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. More than I thought I would. It's definitely a different direction than obviously the source material, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But overall, I really liked it. I liked how we kind of got into the excitement of the movie, right? Kind of from the get-go. There wasn't a lot of build up.
No.
There's one thing that really upset me towards the beginning. I'll get to that in the spoiler cast because I just think something was just like, man, like this didn't add anything to the movie, and you're just like,
I agree.
Something. But everything else, because Churro mentioned Guardians of the Galaxy, I really want to compare it to that, right? Because these are a bunch of losers, right? Because you got Diet Captain America, you got other Diet Captain America with one less arm. You have Russian Captain Russia, I guess.
Yeah, Captain Russia. Yeah. There's a joke in this movie multiple times about it.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just all these characters that are broken and beaten down and have a lot of trauma, right? And for them to explore that in a way where it's, for the most part, it's not done in a spiteful manner or hey, we're laughing at your upbringing or anything like that. It was just insightful seeing how they dealt with those characters. For example, with Walker, I didn't really care for his character in Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
But in this, I was actually
you weren't supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, you know what? I mean, he did kill one dude, but honestly, who hasn't in the MCU, right? Who hasn't, right?
It's because he's a bad guy.
Right?
Doesn't mean he's a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I could look past that, and his character, I thought, went to places in this movie. So I was like, you know what? Maybe he's not such a bad guy after all. Mm-hmm. But like you said, Florence as Yelena is just so awesome as a character. I would go as far to say is I care more about her than I ever did with Widow.
I'm 100% on that train as well. Yep.
Because this whole time, I was thinking about it after. I was like, I care about what happens to her. I'm sorry, spoiler alert, if you have never seen Black Widow, or I guess
not Black Widow, Endgame.
Endgame, yeah.
Right?
Endgame.
Yes, Endgame.
Yeah.
Sorry, if you haven't seen the game, Black Widow dies in that movie, right? I was sad. It was self-sacrifice, whatever. But, I was just okay, that's our, whatever. OG.
Yeah.
But, if something happened to Yelena, I'd be so upset. I'd be so pissed. And just so, oh, damn, I kind of like that character. And I liked her portrayal and just, she had more depth to her, right? Because with Black Widow, like the two things we got were really like, she couldn't have a baby, which okay, that's bad, but like they didn't really explore that. I mean, you can't really in a superhero movie.
Yeah.
And then her relationship with Hulk that was off screened and
was
immediately
weird, yeah.
dissolved, right? So it's kind of like, whatever, it's unfortunate. But yeah, I think everybody did pretty well. I thought the one sequence with Winter Soldier was totally badass. Like, gave me like Terminator vibes on the
chase
desert
scene.
The chase scene. I thought it was a really cool sequence.
It's in the trailer, so
yeah, it's in the trailer. So yeah. Okay. But I thought that was really cool. All the fight scenes actually, I think, were pretty cool. Like
I thought they were really well done, all of them.
And then even the one towards the end.
Well, because like the thing about Sentry is like I don't know anything about the character, so he's kind of Superman with a flaw. So like
a big flaw.
Yeah, but like so it's like how do you have those kind of combat sequences like where he's just so much more powerful? But they did a great job of mixing.
They did an amazing job.
So
just thinking about it, it was just damn. Okay, yeah, that's how that would go in reality. And the whole time too, I was like, how are they going to do this, man? Like they don't. Their skill sets do not match up to this. And the ending, without spoiling it, obviously, I think really subverted my expectations, especially for an MCU movie, which I usually criticize for like, like the world. It's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the movie was, like I said, really good. I will say, for those wondering, it is nothing like Suicide Squad, which is great. Nothing like that movie, because everybody's like, "Oh, this is going to be Marvel's Suicide Squad." No, it's not the same movie. It doesn't deal with the same. Yeah, it doesn't deal with the same concepts.
A lot because the Thunderbolts comic was very much a Suicide Squad spin on the Marvel side of things.
I was very happy.
And even as you describe it here, it sounds like the plot of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, where they have to fight Superman.
That's a video game. I'm talking about the movies. I'm talking about the movies.
It's still a Suicide Squad thing.
I was worried about the movies. Like this was going to be their style of movie, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. It was completely more depth movie. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, it was to say the second Suicide Squad movie wasn't fun. I actually thought that was a fun movie, but it's got its own legs to stand on. It wasn't like a rip-off of a DC universe movie. So like I said, go check it out. It's really good. We're gonna do a spoiler cast for it. So stay tuned. And it's number one movie. So all right,
opened at what, 75 million, I think.
74.3 was the actuals. Okay, so I was gonna go into that box office, but anything else?
Because I think the stink of Captain America: Brave New World definitely did no favors to this box office opening.
Mm-hmm.
No, I mean,
agree. And because it even did better than this movie. I
think this movie's way better than that. Like,
I know
it's at 165.
Yeah,
165 worldwide. So it's not bad.
Hopefully they'll have.
They did because this takes place after that film in the Marvel Universe timeline, and they do mention things that happen in that film too.
During that movie,
cool.
So, anything else, guys? Tony, before I go over to Mike here.
Yes, watch Andor part 1 or 2, I guess.
Oh, I didn't go.
Is there a third part?
No. I didn't get to watch part 2 yet.
Well, there's 3, I think. 3 episodes each, right?
Yeah, I watched
the first 6 episodes.
Yeah, I know what he's talking about. I know what you're saying.
2 years, I guess, if that's
2 years.
I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's done fantastic. Like, it's shot well. The costumes, the set, locations, the characters.
Saying a lot for you.
I love the. You're right. Yeah, no, exactly.
It's Andor. It's Andor, though.
I love the espionage.
Yeah.
The one episode 2 where Cassian gets into a real bad situation. I was just curious to see how he's going to get himself out of that one, which I loved. Actually, I wouldn't have minded if that stuck around for another episode, but I get they got to move the plot along. But I guess I don't know where it's all leading to. Like, obviously, yes, we have to get to.
We know where it's leading to, but unfortunately,
right. But I'm like, wow, how are we getting to that point, right? Like, I guess I'm following parts of the the breadcrumb trail, but we'll see how it's going. I see what you mean by, characters not being safe necessarily, and it is one of those unfortunate things where, like, again, when you know something is gonna happen, like. Hey, well, okay, Cassian's obviously going to get out of this situation, right?
That's the only one I know of. Yeah, that's about it, though.
But it's like, it's like,
what happened? I have a serious gripe, which I'm going to talk about on the show. A little spoiler for that show for those watching it. I can't, Andor, kind of an ass to his, like, that droid. I felt so bad for that droid.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the next part yet, so I'm hoping something after part 1, like 1, 2, and 3. I'm like, dude, he just fucking left that droid. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I'm spoiling that to everybody, but I'm like, that really, like, I'm like, dude, that is bullshit. Like, that droid waited around for him.
There's always been weirdness with the droids in Star Wars because the humans treat them like they have no sentience whatsoever. Like they're just, tools. But then they always act like, real AI, like they do have sentience. I don't know. The treatment of droids has always been weird, like, but it seemed like the human characters don't think that they like have souls.
They have any emotions.
And it's always been like that too. It's always been that way in Star Wars. It's always been weird.
Yeah. I just was like that was like, I was actually pissed. I was like, what are you doing? Why are you leaving him behind? What? No, he literally has been waiting for you for 3 episodes.
It's like, I would feel that the best way to portray that would be like a pet almost, right? That just talks back to you.
Exactly.
Whatever. But it's like, whatever. It's my droid. It's like, what, bro? Like, come on, man. Like, and I'm sorry. No matter how hard Darth Vader is, he's gonna see C-3PO and R2-D2 and not say anything. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
So, yeah. But cool. Corey, anything else for you?
Well, The Last of Us is still going.
Nice.
Very good episode again. They're
good
doing a great
follow-up.
job. Yeah. I mean, well, it's more of the game, taking scenes that were very popular from the game, recreating them. They did like a 1-to-1 shot for a scene in the game that had a big impact on me initially, and so it was very cool to see that. And it's really good. So definitely recommend it. I'm excited to see it continue.
Next episode is the last episode, right? Or 2 more?
No, there's
7.
a couple more.
Right?
This is only
There's
episode
7.
4 for Last.
Oh, I thought we were on 5. Okay.
Yeah. So, all right, Mike. Anything for you?
Nope.
Really? I waited all this time to get to you, and then okay. And I didn't have anything. I was away.
You expected me to watch something during that time?
You gotta ask yourself: was there a Batman movie and/or cartoon?
No. But all right. Some news going on, guys. We've got some Marvel news, as we mentioned. Thunderbolts was the #1 movie.
Sinner's still holding up well.
Sinners is doing great, and that theater was, drawing people in there. That, like, the seats available were limited in that, so I was like, wow, it's doing very well. That is up to what is it up to now? 240 worldwide, because the international is only 57 million. 182 domestic, like by itself.
Insane.
Yeah, that's incredible. The holds it's getting are unbelievable. So
it's again just showing horror movies. Like, I honestly don't know why we don't see even more of them.
I don't know. This one was kind of sent off to die too, and it didn't.
No, it didn't.
It did not. So yeah, good for that. All right, we got Sinners on there. Let's see. Jeremy Renner, news in the news from Marvel. Bad news, unfortunately. He's says he turned down doing Hawkeye season 2 after only being offered half of his season 1 salary. Now I understand they're doing budget cuts, right? They are doing budget cuts. But then there's a precedent of what he was being paid, and can you go backwards like that? I mean, I don't know. How does this work? What do you guys think?
I mean,
well, they tried.
The only thing I could think of would be that he was only going to be in half of the season.
That's not what he said, though, in his quote.
No, I get it, but that's the only reason I would say you would do that is to offer someone less than what they were getting the first time. Is if the show was one bad, and they're like, "Hey, we'll give you another shot, and we can do something," or you're not going to be in it as much, so we're not going to be paying you as much. But that sounds like it's neither one of those. So
I mean, it's one of those things where you got to take it with a grain of salt. And like Mike, the quote you're alluding to, when he says it's more work, it's not. I didn't take that as a direct relation to how much he was going to be in the script, but I took that as how much work he'd have to get back into quote unquote like Hawkeye shape with training and
That's not what I felt from that. I feel like he was tying that to the whole weirdness of being offered less, and it's like it was a substantial.
Well, I mean, he was mentioning his accident, right? From a couple of years ago.
Well, he mentioned that later on as like, oh, is that why I'm half the Jeremy because I got ran over or something? So I don't know. He's obviously wasn't happy with it. I don't know
Right, he's
means
obviously not happy with
they're
it,
done.
which
I
is
mean, the
unfortunate.
show
Like,
based off of his character essentially, and so I could see where the
Yeah.
being upset.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, obviously he's saying something because he wants public perception to be on his side, and maybe people can whatever, right? Petition or cause an uproar. I get it, right? Because
He did.
whatever,
I
Disney's a
think it's
fucking
funny. He also mentioned he's like, well, it's not really Marvel. It's not even Disney. It's just some bean counter. He said. So he he's trying not to burn, I think, all of the bridges, but he's clearly not happy.
This is definitely a negotiation check. I mean, we've seen it hundreds of times since we've been doing this podcast, where it's a actor says, "Yep, this is my last movie, guy." Like James Bond. This is my last fucking James Bond movies, and then here we are,
Six
like,
more. Six
right?
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like whatever. It's just
Yeah.
a negotiation tactic. So that's unfortunate. Like again, I just without Disney, it's a he said, they said, whatever kind of thing. I would like to believe it wasn't like, hey man, like you got in an accident, you're not in tip top shape, whatever. Fuck you, we're only paying you half. And more along the lines of, hey, dude, it's more about Kate Bishop now. You're going to be in it, just not as much. So that's, commensurate with your appearances and stuff like that. Because otherwise, that's really shitty. If it's like, hey, you're going to be in the same amount of time, you're going to have to put in the same amount of work, but we're paying you half. Like, that is absolute shit, right?
Yeah.
So I
sure.
hope it's not that, but, who knows?
I know they're cutting budgets, so it sounds to me like that's what it is. But
Yeah, it could be all around.
Yeah,
Everyone's getting less.
I mean, my feeling is it is just they don't have as much money to spend, and
It's
it's
lower
not
budget.
that
yeah,
he
that's
was
lower
hurt.
budgets.
Yeah.
It's not that he was hurt. I don't really think that's the reason
No.
why, but I do think they just trying to get away with what they can
Yeah.
because they don't
And
want
I mean,
to spend as much
that's
money.
fine. It could be too that Disney's like, maybe they're like, hey, we have to offer it, right? If they signed a contract, but it's like, hey, we're only going to pay you half because we're budget cuts, right? Because as you can see, all these shows were greenlit at a time when the previous president was like Disney Plus, Disney Plus, Disney Plus, right? And all these they were just literally burning money to get content onto Disney Plus. And now it's like, okay, we're retracting from that because we're not in the growth phase or as much of the growth phase as they are. That, hey, we need to pivot to making money off of this, right? And we see that, reduced Star Wars shows, reduced Marvel shows, this, that, and the other thing. So it makes
the movies aren't making insane money on the other end anymore either. They're like not making money anymore.
Well, that's why they're cutting budget. They're cutting budgets back. That's why.
Yeah,
their budget's ballooned too high.
Hmm.
Right. And Thunderbolts pulling in 185 right now is really good for like that movie. If you think about what that movie was going to do, that's excellent. But obviously the budget was probably more like 250. I'm thinking, who knows? We don't know what the budget is. I'm just going to guess. Maybe I'm wrong. Like 250. So it's not going to be money.
You don't think it was?
I think it is
on
too.
par with a typical MCU budget?
That's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like 250. Like I don't think. I mean, it looks great, but I mean, I know they're trying to cut it back. But that's what I'm saying. 250. I hope not, but I'm just gonna. I know.
I would guess 200 to be the cap. Like that's a lot, dude. 250? Like the A. I don't know who's the A-lister here.
Trying to find
There's none. Sebastian Stan, I guess. I don't know.
Like I can understand if they had Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans in it, even Chris.
Florence Pugh is pretty big. She's been pretty big for a little bit.
I don't think she commands that kind of salary.
Yeah, she's not commanding that much. I don't think.
But regardless, and I don't know if I put it in there or not, but in the news, Kevin Feige was even talking about how they're reducing the requirement or how much content they're putting out because it's felt like homework, right? And I think we've all talked about that over the past couple of years, especially once Disney Plus shows started coming out. Where like I think the first year we had WandaVision, Loki, and Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's like, how are you supposed to make those compelling continuations of those narrative characters? Plus the movies, like it's just a lot for people to ask of people's like free time, right? Entertainment time. Yeah, even if they're subscribed to Disney Plus. And I think they were even saying like Kevin Feige was being stretched so thin because he's working on over a dozen projects now. And I was reading that people were saying even if they wanted like, hey, we want your feedback on this. It would take weeks, by the time he gets the feedback, it's like weeks later, and they're like, well, we can't really do this now. Like our window of opportunity is a lot smaller. So hopefully, I think Thunderbolts was the first movie that like they had more of a tighter, I don't know, rein on it again or something like that. But if that's the quality, that's great. Because I think a lot of these Yeah.
Yeah, and he's made the directive to apparently to the new films that they have to be more disconnected, like on their own. So you
They
don't
got to
have
be able to
do
stand on their own for sure.
Yeah, no homework required is what his directive is now. But that's the new strategy for Marvel for these movies. I don't have I'm looking for the budget for this movie. I can't find it yet. So they
Yeah, I
haven't
was
released
looking
that
for it
information
too.
yet.
I didn't see it anywhere, but
Anyways, I think for the news, for the Thunderbolts news, I think out of respect for people that are trying to avoid spoilers, I will leave the last bit of it out to our spoiler cast. I don't think it's a spoiler, but I'll leave it off of here because I really don't think it's a spoiler. But
well,
I think it's a
out
great
there
conversation
everywhere, so you can find it. But
yeah,
leave
if
that
you're
to
really
you.
done a good job, I
Yeah.
don't want to ruin for you if you're listening to this right now. So we'll talk about it in the spoiler cast. What's the other part of this movie? So we'll get into that in a little bit. Stay tuned. But for now, the last of the news we've got is Elden Ring. Elden Ring. Alex Garland set to direct the Elden Ring film for A24. So what did Alex Garland do? Do we have any movies for him? Of course, I'm not open. Sorry, everybody.
I wanted to say Quiet Place, but I don't know if that's right.
Did I freeze?
No.
No.
I think I froze.
He did the screenplays for the Danny Boyle films, including 28 Days Later, Sunshine.
28
definitely
Days, that's
froze.
what it was. I was like, I
Yeah.
knew it was some like zombie monster thing he did. 28 Days was the one that I was thinking of.
Annihilation, Warfare,
Ex Machina,
Ex
Civil
Machina.
War, which was the new one that was
Oh
weird
no,
timing.
he did The Beach. Oh, that's not the M. Night Shyamalan Beach. Never mind.
Yeah.
But
Annihilation was interesting.
Sorry.
I remember we talked about that one.
My apologies.
Yeah.
I think I'm back here. I had to change networks. So
I
my
heard you
network
the whole time, Jim.
Did you really? My video was out, so
Yeah.
I apologize. So what
I
did you guys say?
messed up the stream.
It will a little bit. Sorry for those watching live, but we're okay. So what did you guys say? What did we get to? Oh, the news.
Just
28 Days Later, Danny Boyle movies.
Okay.
I don't know. It's weird to me because like I love Elden Ring, but I just don't know how you do a movie based on that, especially
Me too.
in Elden Ring, where it's like
You're not
I mean,
supposed
all-
to do is have a story. It's all homework.
No,
That's what
it's
Elden
like.
Ring
I would
is.
take I would obviously take. You have that huge universe. I would take a small snippet of it and work on that for a movie. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I would do. You know, it's a big world, and maybe end it while with seeing that giant world. That's you know what I'm saying. That's about what I would do. But
yeah, I don't know how well it would translate. I mean, that's their job, obviously, to come up with a good adaptation. I'm personally just, it's a hard sell, right? Because I mean, the main character, like you don't even talk, so like, you know, I think it's even
just
worse.
die.
situation
You just
with,
die
like,
and
Link,
die and
Do you
die.
think-
Whereas-
Do you think the story will be about like your character, or will it be about like all those Elden, you know? God, I don't know enough about the story, even though I played 120 hours.
Oh, the fallen heroes.
the gods.
Yeah.
All the other characters. You think it'll be about them instead?
I
Could
think
be.
you have to keep it grounded with the Tarnished at least. It doesn't have to be like the Tarnished that succeeded in becoming the new Elden Lord.
Weren't those other characters more normal before they ascended or whatever?
I mean, a lot of them were demigods, so you know, it's really. I mean, you could show the conflict of them, like the prequel. Like I'd love to see Millennia versus Radon. Like that would be cool, but
That would be awesome. Yeah. That's a famous. That's a famous.
Because they reference that several
conflict.
times in the game.
Yeah. That's a famous
You know.
conflict. I like to say.
It
So, I
fucked
don't know,
up the
we'll see.
entire continent of, or
Yeah.
the area of, what was it?
There's a whole battlefield of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dead wasteland. I can't remember what it's
Yeah,
called.
it's like Florida. It's Callum, I think. Maybe. But yeah, people were making memes on it. It's like, welcome to Florida.
So, yeah, we'll see. So,
But
I think it's
yeah,
good.
I mean, it's easy. Well, I assume they think it's easy money, and 30 million units for new IP. You can't ignore that. Again, video games are the new mining avenue for these movie companies because they drained a lot of the easy stuff from books. So games is next.
Yeah. All right. And that's going to wrap up this episode of the Moviecast, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we're live on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. We're over on YouTube for all the other stuff if you can't catch us live. Be sure to stay tuned. We have Gamecast coming up, bonus rounds. We'll see you guys on those. We are out.